Hello, my name is 𝗦𝗵𝗵𝗀, and in this short video, I want to talk about why I generally don't use these colored category labels like you see on in the chart on the left here in my charts, and I'll usually use a more kind of traditional legend design. A couple of reasons why I generally avoid this. It's not a huge problem, but I just find that the association between the elements in the legend and the colors in the chart is slightly longer, right? Because the reader has to associate the color of text with colored shapes, right? But text is different than shapes. And so I think it's a little bit more immediate if they're associating colored shapes with other colored shapes, essentially. And I also worry that, having differently colored text labels might suggest that the categories, in this case, 𝗁𝗏𝗏 and 𝗰𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗏 as our fictional cookie brands, are more different than they really are. But, generally they're all the same kind of thing. In this case, they're all cookie brands, right? There's nothing like sort of fundamentally different about them. Subtle distinctions, but I think it might just slow people down a little bit. You might have also seen a version of this where the colors in the chart are actually shown as category names in the chart title itself. And I think this is actually maybe even slightly more problematic, right? It's certainly less common, right? You don't see charts like this that often. And I think there might be good reasons why, and we're seeing some of those right now. And you also can't really match the sequence and direction of the colors in the chart with the sequence and direction of the colors in the legend, which is generally something that I like to do, right? So here, for example, we have colors going from left to right, right? In the chart, orange, blue, orange, blue, orange, blue. But I can't really kind of match that, or not easily anyways, if I have the colors in words in the chart title. And it's also, I think, slightly slower if I'm looking for a particular category. If I'm looking at the chart and I want to see, okay, well, what does blue mean? Well, I have to go up and look in the sentence and find blue. Not a big deal, especially when there's only two colors. But if there were maybe more, 4 or 5, maybe 6 colors, then, having to sort of look within a sentence to find, where's the blue, where's the green. It's not a huge deal, but something like this, I think, is just going to be a little bit easier to read. All of the legend items, i.e. the categories, are, they're all kind of formatted the same. So it's easy to quickly kind of scan through the list if I'm looking for a particular one, for example. And I'm associating colored shapes with colored shapes, right? I've got kind of a orange, kind of square or rectangle associated with an orange rectangle. It's not a huge deal, but I think slightly easier. So what's the bottom line here? Well, I don't think any of these options are going to be particularly problematic. I don't think it's a mistake or anything to use colored text, but I hope I've shown you a couple of reasons why, I tend to stay away from it. And anecdotally, I have seen some audiences get briefly thrown off by it. I've seen them kind of do a double take in the chart and they're like, oh, I see. Whereas if you use a more kind of traditional legend, that tends to not really happen. And so I do think that is probably why these are relatively rare in practice. And so a lot of audiences simply kind of aren't used to seeing colors encoded in that way. Not a huge deal, like I said. They'll learn, they'll figure it out. But why impose that small extra step? And so these are reasons why I generally avoid colored label text and go with a more kind of traditional kind of color swatch. Like, so, squares if it's like a bar chart, or little colored line segments if it's a line chart, for example. If you want to learn more skills like this, I will happily be teaching my practical charts course, where you can find out all about these and many other chart design skills. I'll be teaching it live on June 2nd to 5th, 2025. Hopefully you're watching this video before then. If you'd like information about that live online workshop, my website, practicalreporting.com. Thanks very much for watching.